Thanks for being here. We have a bit of an emergency. I got a message from a fellow from TPUG. His last remaining 1541C has stopped working. File not found, file not found, file not found. And here I have a 1541. It is, it's just a 1541, but you see, they had 3 or 4 different versions of the circuit board. This is the smallest that I know of that was in this kind of case. And the way you can tell without even opening up a machine such as a 1541 what kind of board you have is if you turn the machine on and the head bangs, and when you take a disc and put it in, if the drive spins before you've even done anything, then from what I know, you have a short board, really short board, from what I know. It's funny as I look at this one, because I don't have a whole lot of these short boards. As I look at this one, this may not be the best candidate to send away because all the chips are not in sockets. But oh well. I don't have a whole bunch of them and I don't have a whole lot of time. So what it really comes down to is device not present. Alright, what's going on here? Is this a device 9? Did I forget to plug something in? What have I done? Alright, just a second here. Searching for a device not present. Well, there we go. This is a 64, the one that I found in the basement. I have not had a chance to really thoroughly test it out. So this may not be the best one to check out this drive with. It may not be. Well, let me just check. Device not present. Device not present. I'm just trying device 10. Trying device 11. Device not present. But yet, it is present. Oh, dear. Yes. So that's why, some people say, oh yeah, machine's tested. Turning it on and seeing the screen come up does not necessarily tell the whole tale. It does not. Oh, just a moment. There's always another machine handy, somewhat. Somewhere close by there is. Okay. Alright. Here's another 64. Oh, yes. This is my second of 3 designated test machines. So I have quite a bit of confidence that if I connect this to its varying things, such as power, turn it off, and the monitor, funny, as much as I like this 128 power supply, it doesn't have the little thing on it. It tends to be a pain at times. Okay, so let's try that again. Except we have the shift lock down. Searching for, look at that. So, list, pop this disc out, pop this disc in. This disc, it tells me that it's a blank test disc. It tells me this. So yeah, it is, but it isn't. Let me just go back over here. Because I'm suspecting, before I erase everything off this disk, I'm suspecting what I've done at some point was just do a copy-o to once again check the disk. And I bet you I did it from this one, because I know there's lots of extra stuff on here. And if that is the case, yeah. Okay, we're good. Actually, maybe I'll just use that one. So what I'm going to do here, because I do not have tons, it's funny, the more you rush, the longer things take. So, what I'm going to do, did that load okay? Yep, nice and steady on the light. Okay, what I'm going to do just to assure myself that I think that this drive is happy is I'm going to run the 1541 test demo disk program called Performance Test. Now, does this really, well, it does a lot of things, but I've had drives pass the performance test that still had some issues. But what I'm suspecting is the drive itself basically has three parts: the power supply, the drive mechanism, and the circuit board. And if something has gone kaput, either you have no power, the drive mechanism has failed, or there's something on the circuit board. That's about all there is to it. So, what the performance test does is it formats a disk. And remember, when it says insert a scratch disk, this means a disk that is going to be wiped out. So don't put, your bestest game in there. Then it formats it, and then it reads, and then it writes, and it does things, and it moves the head around, and it does all kinds of wonderful things. And in the end, if the drive is happy, it'll say, the drive is passing the performance test. So while that is doing that, I'm going to take this 64 that I wrote on. That it works. It does not. It does, but it doesn't. Will not access 1541. So that means I need to check I think they are called the complex interface adapter chips. So this is running its performance test, and it all looks good, it all looks fine, it all looks dandy. Now the one thing that, I really don't have time to look for another one. Everything's in a socket. that's sorry, everything is not socketed. So basically he is going to be down to swap the power, swap the drive, swap the board, see what's what, and we can go from there. And that pretty much should tell the tale. If you basically if you swap everything out, okay, unit has passed. Excellent. We'll run it again. What the heck? If you swap everything out and it's still not working, there's something else. And now keep in mind, you know how all these devices and their FCC things, and you can't have interference, but you have to accept all interference and all that other stuff. I have had occasions where people, long ago, would put like 2 drives under a monitor or on top of a monitor or somewhere, and somehow or another, something to do with the monitor, maybe the sound circuit or the speaker or whatever, interfered with the working of the drive. So the drive was just fine, just the placement made it unhappy. But I do not suspect that this is the case, because the fellow who is in 1541 distress is very knowledgeable. He's been around a long time, and I am sure that that will not be the case. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is, because of course we're all social distancing, and all, is I'm going to bundle this up into a bag very carefully, and I will leave it at the house of another fellow, who this fellow is going to visit anyway, and then he can take this away and at least narrow it down to drive mechanism, circuit board, power supply. That's pretty much the 3 options. I'm not probably going to drop this off till tomorrow. So if I happen to find another drive like this with the tiny board, maybe I'll do this again and try something different. I'll see. But I don't know if I have time for that. Anyway, I do have handy a top of a drive, which I'll put on before I carefully put this in a bag. And it's all working fine. So, and I mean, if all else fails, because of course I think he's down to his last 1541, if he can't figure out what's what, he's got one that works, and he can hang in there with that, and then we can figure out what's going on. We can. So, I will let this do its thing, and it's funny, I guess I really should come up with kind of like a military checklist and find programs that will let me test every aspect of every machine. Disk drive, printer, modem, joysticks, everything. Sound, the cartridge does that. But, yes, had I not, and I would have hooked that up to a drive at some point, but had I not done that, I would have never known. And if somebody called up and said, "Yo, here," I might have sent them away with that machine. And it would not have worked. It would not have. Anyway, this has passed the performance test. The performance test can be found on the test demo disc, which came with every single 1541. It looked differently at times. This is the one tiny little envelope, or not envelope, sticker. Let me just put things back. And that is now indeed a blank disc. And I'll put that at the back. And what do we have here? Super SID player. Blank test disc. 1351 mouse utility disc. 1541 test demo disc. Single-sided, 48 track per inch. See, here we have, these all came from Mother Commodore Oh, that's not one. That's pretty impressive. Nice label. Nice sleeve. This is alright. And there's the third. They're pretty much all the same, although they did, to their credit, as things changed and evolved, they did add things. They did. Now maybe I'll just try this disc here. This is not a test demo disc. This is what is this? An error reading. Now, it may be, see, I just did just the quote asterisk quote. That does not necessarily mean the first program on the disk. The disk drive does remember these things, so I think what it did there is, because I had last tried to perform an operation where I loaded the performance test, that it then went looking for the last file that I had accessed, which was the performance test, and maybe it had that in its mind. Well, let's see. This is a good way to test a drive, although I don't know that I can. It's the theme from you. You know, all my things here telling me how many machines I have, which are now outdated because I don't know. I've lost track. Are in the way of me seeing what's on the screen. By the way, if ever you have had a chance or you get a chance to do something cool on the 64, find the game Mule. It's funny, whenever anything comes out, everybody says, does it have Mule on it? Anyway, this is the theme song from Mule. I'm just going to hit that for a second and see, is there a way to play all of these? It does not look like there is. What if I type in all? Ah! Sorry. What if I put it in that? Asterisk. Oh, well. It's playing Mule again. Let's try. The theme from James Bond. This says it is from the movie Dr. No. Said version by Chuck Knights. Anyway, sorry, this disc is not what I thought it was, because if it was what I thought it was, I would just set this up. Even turn off the monitor, I don't have to hear it to just torture test the drive. But it is not that. It is not. and so it goes. On and on. I think it's ending. Yeah, that's ending. Yes. Well, I guess I could do more, but anyway, I've tested this drive. I don't have a whole bunch of time. So, enough for now. Thank you very much for coming. If you have any questions about 1541s or other such things, I'll do my best. Anyway, thank you again. Bye for now.